Awesome. So thank you for joining us for our second last webinar of 2025. We are very excited. We have all of our hosts signed up this year. We have 35 and 35 hosts this year for 2025. So it's an exciting opportunity to be welcoming everyone back and some new hosts as well to Open Farm Days. I will be going just through our presentation outline here in a minute, but just a couple housekeeping items to keep in mind. Like I said, this is being recorded. Please keep your microphone muted. If you do have any questions, feel free to throw it in the chat and I'll answer those as we go. If you do need any help, if it starts to load or load funny, just refresh your browser and we will I'll let you back in here. I have all the participants on the screen. And also I will be sending follow-up slides. They will live on our host resources page on Open Farm Days. Or if you do want them, if you can't find them there, just shoot me an email and I'll get those sent over to you. The video, pardon me, itself will be living on YouTube as well as on openfarmdays.ca. So feel free to check either of those platforms for the rewatch if you'd like to. Getting into the presentation outline, I kind of broke this into two main areas. First being the goals, the audiences, our key messages, and getting into doing that on your own. But then the second half of the presentation from my part is actually more so on tactics and how to use said items. I find a lot of things are really helpful to have a plan in place, but it's the now what when it comes to the marketing plan. So I'll dive quite heavily into those areas. And then the third part, we have actually invited Brooke Lochbaum from Tourism Saskatchewan to come and speak about the opportunities through Tourism Saskatchewan, what they have to offer through the province and what they do year-round work for operators in the tourism sector. So exciting to hear from her as well. Now, getting right into it. As the heart of Open Farm Days, at the heart of Open Farm Days is a mission to educate and inspire. So this means telling our authentic stories of farms, showcasing the journey from field to fork, and creating those hands-on learning opportunities for all ages. We do this through a mix of outreach through our digital campaigns, print materials, and in-person engagement to make sure that the message reaches as many people as possible across the province. And when we share our stories well, we build that awareness around the province, encourage more farms to sign up as hosts, and ultimately increase visitation from the public. Every interaction becomes a chance to deepen that understanding and connection with agriculture. So when we go down to it, our main three objectives behind everything we're doing with Open Farm Days this year is to educate and inspire, build awareness, and increase visitation across all hosts. That awareness piece is talking about all the tactics that we use, the digital print, the in-person outreach. But at the end of the day, we want to be able to tell the story of agriculture and the impact that it makes for Saskatchewan residents, as well as the impact that we have worldwide in this sector. Getting into our timeline, it's kind of just broken into 4 months. It's coming up really fast. I think we have 64 days as this is being recorded, so it goes quite quickly these next few months. But June, the focus on our marketing is to gain followers. We want to build, being that this is our second year doing the event, we want to build more momentum of people seeing the content that we're developing. So we're actually going to be doing a couple contests here in June to get the word out a little bit more and to gain some following and traction on the event. That word of mouth, if there's a good contest out there, it travels fast. So we're excited to get a couple of really engaging contests out there to gain some more followers. We're also going to be doing our working with some local influencers to get some awareness on that space as well. Mostly focused on event awareness and understanding what the event is and just getting it on people's radars, throwing it in their calendars. And we're also going to be sending out a media release, our first media release of the season, and it's going to be focused on consumers, specifically general awareness, not anything too specific. We'll get more into the specifics in July. In July is when we get into our bus tour media release. We will be opening our bus tours in June, but we'll be really hitting hard that first week of July to get those tickets sold. We have 3 bus tours this year, Saskatoon, Regina, and Moose Jaw. So those will sell out quick as there's only 150 seats total across the entire province. We'll also be doing on-site activations at farmers markets. We're going to be going to the Regina Farmers Market as well as Gather Local Market up in Saskatoon to get some beat on the ground and go meet some consumers interested who are already in that space of looking for local food. Our influencer content will start to really ramp up, and we'll also start talking about our ingredient itineraries. These are brand new to 2025. We have actually created regions in which hosts have signed up. So there's about 4 or 5 regions that we've seen clusters of farms start to group together, which is great. And we're creating itineraries based on those regions. So one, for example, is Regina. When we have one here in Regina, we're working with Chef Jenny Lassard, and she's going to create a menu based on the ingredients that people can shop from the farms on Open Farm Day weekend. And then from there, go home and create the menu that Chef Jenny has made for us. So it's a really nice full circle opportunity for people to take the ingredients that they're purchasing at your location and find that unique culinary experience attached to it as well and build it into their normal habits and routines. So we'll get more into that as we start meeting more on a regular basis. Getting into August, it's going to go fast. We have those first 8 days to really get the word out. The weekend promotion, we're going to be talking about, the influencers will be out pretty well every day talking about the event, as well as on event weekend. And then from there, once we get post Open Farm Days, I'll talk about how to engage with Open Farm Days during the event. And then after the event, there'll be some statistics content coming out, as well as some thank yous. And then we start to do our wrap up. We do a post event survey with a contest attached to it, and our host event content as well. We'll talk about what happened during Open Farm Days, getting everyone excited for 2026 already. So getting into our audiences, we have 2 main audiences that we focus on with Open Farm Days. Our primary market is visitors from across Saskatchewan who are seeking to deepen their connection to agriculture through fun, intentional, and authentic experiences. That secondary market is visitors from across Canada. We know it's the weekend after August long, so there's likely going to be a fair amount of people out and about anyways traveling. So we want to capture them and get them excited to immerse themselves in agriculture-related experiences that are very unique to Saskatchewan. Digging into this deeper, I love a good data dump. So we got a little bit more feedback from our visitors last year, and I built them into 3 main sectors of an audience. So our first sector audience that we've made is actually an urban explorer. So they are young urban singles and couples, 25 to 44, often newcomers to Canada, living in urban centers, rental apartments with a below average income. They're tech savvy, but they do have additional spending money to put towards unique and authentic experiences that are hands-on, like Open Farm Days, that connect them back to the place that they're living. So it's being able to connect the urban and the rural together. They want to understand what's in their backyard. The second audience is nostalgic seekers. They're older adults, aged 55 to 75. This is grandma and grandpa who want to share their farm experience that they had as youth back with their grandchildren, their friends' grandchildren, with their kids. They really want that connection to the farm to be shared so that they can tell the stories that they had as a child, and they want their grandchildren to have that experience. The third audience that we have is our farm to fork foodies. So these are the urban and suburban families and individuals who value locally sourced food and products and are willing to pay more for that quality and connection. They care about where food and where they spend their money, and they love hearing the stories behind it. And Open Farm Days gives them that chance to meet the farmers and producers, explore the farms, and deepen that connection to Saskatchewan and agriculture here across the province. And this does talk about food, but this is other products as well. Like they'll be the ones who will spend a little bit more money on getting experiences to go and pick their own flowers, or to buy beef tallow from a cattle producer, something along those lines that's a little bit more high end. They will seek out those experiences to find products that they're specifically looking for. Getting into our key messages, we have 3 main messages that we're going to be pushing out across all of our platforms this year. Number 1 is experience agriculture. Step into the boots of local farmers and producers to learn firsthand where your food and products come and how it's made. 2 is connect to the land. Gain a deeper appreciation for the role of agriculture in your daily life by discovering the diversity of farms and food production across the province. And 3 is family-friendly adventure. enjoy a day of exploration, learning, and fun for all ages while supporting local farms and their hard work. Seeing this built into action, we connect our three key messages to our main audiences. So we've essentially curated a message that goes to each audience that we know that will be coming to Open Farm Days. And then we know how to talk to them in a way that they're going to respond to, whether it be on social media, in newsletters. We know that there's going to be a little bit more focus content on those audiences. So it just helps them engage a little bit more and become more interested at the end of the day. I do recommend that you do create your own key messages. So in our event host handbook this year, there's actually an outline on how to make your own key message. And it's very simple. I think there's about 6 questions that you go into, and you just sit down, grab a cup of coffee, and go through these questions and answer them yourself how you would answer them. They're your core ideas that you want your audience to remember. It's like your elevator pitch. If you've heard that term before, you're able to make that connection that is easy for people to recall. They're clear, consistent statements about your event, business, or goals. They help guide your tone, language, and storytelling across all your platforms, whether that's an email you write, social media posts, your newsletter, your website, whatever that might be. And by doing this, you're able to keep communication consistent. So by being able to have that consistent, friendly, upbeat tone, if that is kind of what you're looking for, you're able to then put that when they see an email from you and it comes from that they see the header on the email and it's like, hey, how you doing? And you know that's how that producer or that host would welcome a person on their property. You know, it's that connection. It's like, oh, it's Ashley from this farm coming to reach out to me. I'm going to open the email and take a look what she has to say. It's just deepening that relationship with you and the potential consumer on the other end. Also, by being consistent, you're saving time when creating content. You can use tools like ChatGPT, you can repurpose pieces. It really does help to make an easy, consistent piece that's going to hit home on your core messages that you want to share over and over again. And it makes that message stronger and easier for you to remember. So getting into a little example, if this is a made-up dairy that I've created, there's 2 main messages for the Speedy Creek dairy. It's fun for the whole herd, feel good, and eat local. So those are their 2 main focuses. So they're going to be focusing fun for the whole herd. Number 1, their audience is family. Feel good, eat local. They're talking about food, what they produce there, and making that connection to purchasing local food on a regular basis. Then getting into using these key messages. You can use them through social media posts, turn each key message into a caption, a reel script, or a carousel. It's use different photos and formats, but you can repeat that message, make it very simple. Use it in your website copy, feature your key messages on your homepage, about section, or landing pages. Start with a newsletter, and then you can actually highlight 1 message per issue, supporting the stories or updates you might have from your location. Press releases, if you have something exciting that you're pushing out every year, a part of Open Farm Days, whatever that might be, you can use that to repeat as a quote or a summary paragraph to share with media. If you have speaking engagements or interviews, we saw quite a bit of media go out to farms last year. So if you have some key messages that are made, you're actually able to repurpose Speedy Creek Dairy. We're fun for the whole herd, and people will love that. They love the play on words. We talked about building an eggcation last year. That was all I heard on the radio for 2 weeks, was me on the radio talking about eggcations, and it was great. Everyone really caught on to it, and our bus tours sold out at the end of it, which was fantastic. You can reuse these key messages on our print materials. So simplified versions of your messages for quick reads, videos or podcasts if you end up on any of those, and throw it into your email signature or your auto reply. If you have a purchasing platform on your website or an auto reply that comes on your email during calving season when you're busy, whatever that might be, say, hey, we're out with the herd. We'll get back to you within 72 hours when we have a break, kind of thing, when there aren't babies on the ground. So you're able to make it very conversational and very much you, without a lot of work, which is quite nice. Now, getting it into action. This is where we're really starting to take those key messages that you've created and repurposing the Open Farm Days key messages. You can literally just copy and paste those and repurpose it for Open Farm Days with your own twist of your own location onto it. We are using a range of tactics this year to really get the word out. So social media, of course, our traditional media outlets. We're doing newsletters, newspaper ads, media releases, influencer campaign, like I had mentioned, on-site promotions, and our event presences. Also, you want to remember that if there are community events that you think we should be at, just shoot me a message, give me a call. We're happy to bring our booth and help get that word of mouth out. Getting into that's a good leeway into traditional marketing. Our word of mouth promotion from past attendees, past customers, whatever that might be, will create a huge role and create a momentum for your open farm days event. If you're doing something a little bit different than you typically would do for welcoming people onto your property, if this is brand new to you, getting that word out through word of mouth is going to be your number one tactic. It always seems to work best for everything that we've seen. We also have a media release that will be going out June 16th. I'm just waiting on a couple approvals here on our end. So I will, once that is ready, I will send that to your inboxes, but it also will live on our website. I'll show you where that lives at the end of this. Our host posters, we actually have a online submission form under our host resources page where you can order posters and postcards for handouts, and we'll get those over to you, whether it be in person if you're in Saskatoon, Regina areas, or we will figure out how to get them to you through shipping or Canada Post, whatever is easiest. And then community partnerships is another thing that's kind of out of the box. That's a really good opportunity for you to get the word out, whether it's your local tourism or visitor center, if you have one in your area, farmers markets, your RM or town office, and local businesses. If there's local businesses that sell your product, take some posters over there. They'll be really excited for people to go and purchase from their location, and then also go and see firsthand where it comes from during Open Farm Days weekend. So get on those as soon as possible. I will send out a preliminary package of posters and items or as we go, but if you do need more, I'm more than happy to ship those out to you. Getting into our digital marketing, repost and reshare content. Reuse everything that we create. If you would like some, tag us in your content. If you have something that you're talking about Open Farm Days, if you're even just talking about what you're doing on the farm, tag us in it, whether it be through our hashtag or our handle. We will repost and reshare it. We love being able to talk about our host farms. And then we've also created a Facebook event page so you can share experiences on your farm, things that you're working on, share them on that host event page. I can add you as a collaborator, or I can add you. The discussion forum is open. Unfortunately, Facebook events get a lot of spam. So if you see anything, just report it. Every morning I grab my cup of coffee. It's the first thing I do is actually go and delete spam contents. It's a great use of time, but it's always those people who are trying to sell tickets and it doesn't exist. So just be wary of that content on there. If you see anything suspicious, just report it. The other thing that I've actually found super helpful is on Facebook, there are groups that are like Sask Food Farm to Fork. If you're on any of those, consumers looking for local food purchasing, community groups or mom groups. Moms are always looking for something to do. So definitely posting your events and your experiences on those pages will just help to create that momentum and get that word of mouth out there. And at the end of the day, what is there to share? You can share photos of your location, hours you'll be open, the animals' equipment they can see, pictures of your turnoff for your location. You're putting your sign out on the road, something as simple as that, and they don't need to be fancy. Take your phone, snap a selfie. It doesn't need to be anything polished. The more authentic and real it is, the more it'll resonate with the folks on the other end of the photo. One thing that I do encourage you guys all to utilize, we've actually made social media templates this year. So all of these are very handy. You can repurpose all of it. It has our logo, it has our website on it and our colors, but you can change all those out, which is nice. We do ask that you throw our logo on it just for the brand during Open Farm Days, but you can then put on there, here's the schedule for August 9th. Here's what you can see at the farm. Here's a little intro about our farm and all of that. So if you do have any questions, we're happy to really make those as easy as possible. Canva is also free for you to use. You just need to sign up for an account and then you can utilize these templates. And they live on our host resources site or page on our website. Another tool, feel free to share our 2024 video. This lives on, like I said, our Open Farm Days website, but it also lives on YouTube. It's just a really great recap of 2024 and gets people excited for the 2025 event. This is where everything lives. If you are looking, it's on our menu search, our menu on the top of our homepage at skopenfarmdays.ca under host farms, host resources. I've just kind of made a star here near everything that is specific to the marketing and communication side of it. So we have a little bit of a toolkit when it comes to our logos, our media release, our social media templates. There are farm facts and a whole poster library. It's quite robust. So if you're looking for anything specific, please let me know, and I can direct you to it. We also have our 2025 event planning handbook. This is something that's brand new to this year, and it really helps you map out just some good ideas. Don't feel obligated to do all of this, but there are some really good resources on here when it comes to creating your key messages, creating an itinerary for the day, and then you're able to share what volunteers are where, what family members are where, and you can then share that within your group for the day so you have a plan. It just really lays it out very simply. We also have partnered with Tourism Saskatchewan, and they are offering the Service Best training, Saskatchewan Ambassador training, and organizing special events. Those are all free for Open Farm Days hosts this year, which is really exciting, and we're so grateful for that. So definitely check those out. All the details to sign up for that is on our website. And then if you are just wanting to have that reassurance of having those tough conversations, we didn't see anything in 2024, knocking on wood, but there are people who have those harder conversations and are good at pointing things in a very specific way. So be sure, just be prepared if you do have someone who has a tough question. We have our Speak Up training that we offer through Farm and Food Care Saskatchewan. It is free for you to take. It has some good tips and tools on just navigating those tricky situations when it comes to the discussion around agriculture. Our executive director, Clinton, is the one who puts it on. He's been doing farm tours forever, as well as goes and speaks to politicians and has all those tough conversations on a regular basis. So he's great at doing that, and he's put it into a presentation for you. This is my half complete, but I am excited to welcome Brooke. My half is kind of short and sweet, but if you do have questions, like normal, reach out anytime. We do have a lot of resources on the website. I will be in your inbox in a fair bit in the next little while, just making sure that you are up to date on what's going on. And I'm excited to really dig into what Open Farm Days is all about and getting into people onto your location. So I will pass it over to Brooke.
Awesome. Thank you, Ashley. And I'm just going to, can you see my screen okay?
I can't see it.
Oh, you can't. Okay, one second here. It popped up for me, but sorry. Try that again. Okay, can we see that? Still not?
Nope.
Hmm.
There we go.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, I'm just gonna start this. So thank you so much for having me, Ashley. I'm happy to participate in this webinar and hopefully can provide you with a little bit of information about Tourism Saskatchewan and what we do and hopefully how we can help you get your messaging across and promote yourself as far as Open Farm Days and beyond. So, just a little bit of information about us. So, we are a destination marketing organization, so a DMO, often also called a PMO, provincial marketing organization. So, we support and work with other destination marketing areas or city marketing groups. But we've got kind of two lines of work that we really focus on, one being marketing and communications, and the other destination and workforce development. So I have the pleasure of leading our marketing team here at Tourism Saskatchewan. So that includes um, a variety of awesome folks, but we are dedicated to really building the strategy for marketing of the province. We have all sorts of digital marketing experts. We work towards excellent website and content development, and we'll be launching a new consumer website in the next couple of weeks. The other side of our organization, the Destination and Workforce Development area, is what's focused on our funding programs and our educational programs, similar to what Ashley mentioned with some of the webinars and training programs that we offer. So I do have a slide at the end of my presentation on some of that and some of the marketing training that we offer here at Tourism Saskatchewan. So what is content marketing? It's kind of buzzwordy. So marketing today is about really finding out what your customer needs, and it really doesn't matter how good your offering is if you're not delivering value to your target market. So consumers expect marketing materials to be aimed at them, and they need them to be helpful and highly relevant to their situation. Prospects tend to choose the brands that provide them with the most valuable content and communicate with them in the most personalized manner. And so I often get people to think about what it really resonates with you. What kind of content do you engage with, whether it's on your social channels or on the radio, etc. And so then these are all the things that lead to growth of your interested audiences and push them down the funnel from awareness to interest to intent and ideally to purchase. So coming out to the farm, buying into that experience, whether it's open farm days or coming back and purchasing product, that sort of thing. So our approach is really agile, and we're transitioning away from short-term traditional campaigns, and we strive to be always on in digital spaces where our potential customers and advocates are active. So we're agile in that we want to be making lots of small bets versus big bang campaigns, and we constantly evaluate and see what works and what doesn't. It's kind of fun to work in the marketing space to try something out and try to get on trend. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and you try something else. So we're 2 years into a refreshed brand and content strategy. And so what that means for us is we are really focused on storytelling. When we built our new brand, it was not just kind of pulled out of a hat. We went out and we did research. We interviewed and worked with residents and operators and folks from all over different communities all over the province to really understand Saskatchewan and what we can offer visitors to and within Saskatchewan. So that led to our brand being very focused on storytelling and very people-centric. Our brand pillars are really, really rooted in the province's DNA. And so I guess by telling you all of this, I'm really hoping that by showcasing your business, you'll lean into the brand that Tourism Saskatchewan has to offer, because our brand is also your brand. So anyone who is promoting Saskatchewan and what we've got to offer, it's important that we're all kind of speaking about the same thing. And so if it makes sense, we encourage operators to absolutely use any part of our brand. What's really fun is we developed regional travel zones. And so this differentiates and brings personality and color to 4 different regions in the province. And I will outline them. The reason we did this as well is while we were researching, Saskatchewan's provincial DNA, Um, and I'm from Saskatchewan. I've lived here most of my entire life. But while we were researching the province and wanting to really understand the stories that we should be telling, it became very clear to us and to the entire organization that we need to be telling stories in a different way, depending on where operators or experiences reside in the province, because a northern experience is very different than a southern experience. And so this is a real opportunity for the province to lean into that brand within the province, so within each of the travel zones, and bring that real personality and flavor and sort of the storyline that can connect businesses and operators and farms to that travel zone to really band together. So we also refined our target market segments, and we do have all of our information about our target market segments on our website. So that was great. Ashley kind of went through the target market segments that exist for open farm days. But if there's anything that you can find additionally helpful as far as Tourism Saskatchewan's market segments, please feel free to access that information. And our strategy has gone away, as I mentioned, away from mass marketing and really focused on niche markets. So we are really wanting to target passionate travelers. We know that passionate travelers will come to Saskatchewan from further, they will stay longer, and they will spend more money. And so we have leaned into a few different niche markets that we are really amplifying, including astrotourism, birding, angling, and hunting, but never getting away from all of the other experiences that exist within Saskatchewan, but just looking further afar for those passionate travelers that we can get here from further destinations. And so basically, the goal here is to lead the industry into a better, more competitive place than ever before. We know that competition domestically and around the world is fierce. And so we just have to look at our market potential with fresh eyes and do what's necessary to establish the province's competitive advantage and solidify why travelers should come to Saskatchewan. We know we're not a mass market destination and will never attract everyone. So we really need to focus on where we can win. And by doing showcasing Saskatchewan in the way that we know works. So the benefits of this that we have found and what that we continue to look toward, it allows us to expand seasonally. There's a higher impact of our marketing spend, a higher yield, and a focus on expenditure versus visitation, and just making sure that we've got the right travelers coming here to the province and giving them that experience that they would hope to, or that they hope to achieve. So I mentioned this is our new brand. I guess new as in as of 2 years ago. But so, like I said, we're leaning into what makes Saskatchewan Saskatchewan, and our brand pillars focus on our compelling storytellers. Think about our diversity of cultures. Traditional knowledge keeping. We're unpretentious here in Saskatchewan. We have grit and determination, and who knows that best? Farmers, absolutely. So think of our winters. We're resilient, we're innovative, we're community minded. We're connected to land and water. So thinking about farm to table, field to glass, agricultural research and innovation. Surprising beauty. Saskatchewan is so beautiful. 100,000 lakes and rivers, massive forests, and big skies. And so I mentioned here our travel zones. So this was really fun. We've broken the province into 4 unique travel zones because each comes with a different climate, geography, landmark features, different experiences, different sights and smells. And we know this as Saskatchewanians that we've got so many different and unique experiences depending on where you are in the province. So Northern Lights and Waterways is our northernmost travel zone. So very much, where we focus on hunting and fishing, where we have communities that, maybe rely on float planes and the resilience, the grit and determination. It takes effort to live in this zone. So that's what the language is. And when we're speaking about Northern Lights and waterways. Um, Unlimited lakes and parkland. So this is very much our cabin country. This is where folks go to enjoy summer in Saskatchewan. Um, we're located on the bountiful prairies, but also massive forests. This is where people enjoy 1,000 miles of snow in the winter time when we think about snowmobiling. So very different from northern Saskatchewan, for example. Prairie Lights and City Life. So this is our zone where our biggest cities are found. Very much an economic and research innovation center of the province. Lots of different experiences when you think of Wascana Park or Manitou Lake. The Rough Riders, for example. So, really wanting to lean into the city life that can be found in this zone if you reside in this zone. And then Living Skies and Badlands. So this, we talk often of the zone being the Wild West. Very few trees, native grasslands, where the buffalo still roam. And so really leaning into the brand that comes with Living Skies and Badlands. So hopefully that's helpful in that this becomes a way that we can take our provincial brand and break it into four separate brands and promote a reason to travel across the entire province. We're working on building little unique storylines that will, tell the story of each zone and encourage someone to want to tick off that, bucket list of hitting all four travel zones, for example. So I threw a few slides in here that mostly came from our destination and workforce development team, but I thought that they would be really helpful as you start to think about open farm days. And Ashley got into lots of really great information, and this just kind of gives an overview of some things that you might hear about if you're able to join any of our webinars going forward or take part in any of our training sessions. But just noting how expectations are formed when you're thinking about welcoming a customer or visitor or guest onto your farm. And so thinking a lot about, how they might have heard of you, where they might be visiting to check out more information about how they'll get to you. Um, what your social media channels look like. And Ashley gave lots of information about how you can take what exists on Open Farm Days and make it your own and have your own little brand or your own little theme. And just, advertising, online reviews, mental images, and past experiences. So just thinking about how someone visiting you is going to develop an expectation of your business. And then the role that you can play in promoting the province. This is how we all come together. I was traveling this last week and went to a sporting event, and I noted how amazing all of the volunteers were at the sporting event and welcoming and asking, where are you from, and thank you for coming, and it was it made me really understand. More about the community. And I think this is how we can all play a role in promoting the province, whether it's, someone stepping off an airplane and getting into an Uber, whether they're staying at a hotel or checking out a restaurant, coming to your farm, purchasing something from, a vendor that you may be selling goods at. We can all be the storytellers that connect people to our province and give them a better understanding of what we are like as Saskatchewanians. And so you create memories for people visiting your farm too. They're going to leave your farm really having a better understanding of what we have to offer in the province and how special that is. And really, you can help us deliver on our brand province by being that storyteller and by offering these unique experiences to visitors. And I liked this slide as well. I think it gets used quite often with our workforce development folks. But remember to wow visitors. So welcome, observe, and win over. So, and I know that this is not, necessarily new information, but I think it's a good reminder for anyone who might be welcoming someone to their business or farm or what have you. But eye contact and saying hello goes a long way. Listening and watching, asking questions. And then just going that extra mile and finding solutions for someone. We get often asked, where do I go to have the best steak dinner in Saskatchewan? And being that person to provide the response or map out an itinerary or be, that true authentic Saskatchewanian who is really helpful and open and open to helping someone create memories of our province. So I mentioned we do have a few new marketing courses that are free on our learning management system. So this can be found on our Tourism Saskatchewan Business Hub. So if you just Google Tourism Saskatchewan Business Hub, it'll get you right there. But there's lots of information about leveraging our provincial brand strategy. Our market segmentation, if that's helpful for you at all, developing your own value proposition, which I think could be quite helpful, and then growth market opportunities. So I really encourage you to check that out. All free, super valuable information, I'm sure. And that's it for me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brooke. That's so helpful. And that's the one thing is I always find that there's so many resources out there, and so much good information. Just if you get that content block like I do, it's just trying to build that content out. You can always go back and read even just that list of your brand pillars, just gets you so excited. It's like, right, we have that grit and determination and pulling that into your story. So there's some really beautiful ways to make those connections. And what I'll do is I'll stop the recording here. And then if there's any questions, we can follow up. But if there are questions that aren't from this live recording, what we can do, you can send it to me at ashley@farmandfoodcaresk.org and I could get those questions sent over. So let me just stop the recording and we'll go from there.